Namaste, friends. It's our Friday, Fascial Fridays. If you're stepping into our daily videos with our 40-day series. And every Friday, we come to the matrix of our connective tissue and the reminder of having a sense of ritual and at least a weekly moment for yourself to really dive into the wholeness that is you. And one pathway in is to work with all of the layers of skin, muscle, and tissue that surround and wrap the bones, the organs, the whole matrix of your body. So I'm asking you to be courageous over and over again, so bold that you're willing to touch your own body. I literally mean touch yourself in a way that no one else can. Maybe you have an amazing massage therapist that as soon as you lay on the bed, you're out because implicitly you trust the healing nature of their touch. And they can go in and give you broad strokes and meet you on a level that allows maybe a little manipulation of different layers. But when you're on the table or when you're receiving touch in that way, it's very passive. And you may at some point trigger or respond to a tight knot that they find or that they're digging in to unravel. But most of that is very disconnected in that you're letting someone else do the work. And I'm not to say that you can't go get a chiropractic adjustment or enjoy a massage or any other body work where someone else is holding space. But my friends, if you once a week lay your own hands on your body, just imagine the sense of healing and the sense of love and adoration that can unfold from there. Now there's a reminder from last week, a few ways to really create impact by letting energy start to move the flesh and the circulation from the edges into the heart, right? So as we talked before, we kind of hold around a joint and make circles and then squeeze and pull and push the energy from the edge into the center. And once you get around every joint, just move. Squeeze the tissues and be dynamic in your range of motion. You may feel pops, you may feel cracks, you may feel all kinds of different dimensions of exploration, but that's going to give you layers upon layers of meeting yourself as you are. Today, I want to talk about the places that are a little bit scarier for a lot of people to ever even get close to putting their hands on. The butt, the belly, and the face. And I don't just mean putting lotion on your skin when it comes to your face, but we're going to go even deeper into mirror work and the fascial lines of the face and the whole skull area. Today, we're going to focus more on the belly and the butt. And believe it or not, they're connected. And if you allow yourself to be the creator, the artist, and mold the clay of your own body, you're going to learn a lot. What has to happen first, though, is you get over any fear, get over any humiliation or any sense of shame. If you don't like the shape or the size or the color or the texture of your butt or your belly, then the first part is to just lay hands on and feel the sense of healing that only you can offer. Again, if you put a massage therapist on your hand, on your gut and your ribs, and just be there, it can kind of get awkward for a second. But if you create this little container for yourself, where even skin to skin, you go underneath your pant line and underneath your tanks, your shirts, you can actually feel a little more of your life force pulsing. Maybe you feel digestive juices, your tummy rumbling. Maybe you feel your solar plexus pulsing, your heart rate, your hands even, your navel. All of that is building open, is creating a pathway, a space where you can directly connect inward to the center that only you can meet. Now I'm going to lay on my back to give you a sense of really what it looks like and how you can hold space for yourself very simply. And the first aspect of many of our classes, which is to give you permission to touch your own butt, starts right here, where you lay down and instead of moving the flesh of your buttocks down and actually flattening the curves of your spine to the floor, particularly your low back, we do the very opposite. Now, I don't keep my butt down and arch my back. The action of moving my butt up is what naturally tilts my pelvis to a forward dynamic place that allows for my curves. So I'll show you again. I'm not scooping my butt under and flattening my back, but instead I take my hands directly into the clay of my legs. And don't avoid this. Even if you can only do one leg at a time, get in there and literally pull that cheek up and around towards your sacrum. And if you just do one, you can feel how different the halves of your pelvis are, how asymmetrical they are when you just mound one glute muscle. Go ahead and bring balance and then do it, and I really mean do it, about 10 times. Meaning, put your hands in the clay and pull the layers up. And every single time you do, there's a little more tilt, a little more forward angling of your pelvic bowl, and a descent of the front of your bone, that pubic bone, right here in the middle of your thighs. When you allow that tilt of your hips, that's when energy can start to flow. Just take your arms up, and without losing that natural curve, just stretch yourself really long. And then again, bring your hands underneath, if you can, your waistline to your skin, to the pant line, so that your hands are touching your own belly. Now this is where it can get a little bit personal, because we have all kinds of emotions that live inside of our tissues, right? Our issues are stuck in our tissues. And a lot can get very stuck inside of the gut. And we're going to talk about digestion over these 40 days. But I just want you to know that when you lay your hands on yourself, there's an acceptance. There's a full embrace with compassion, with courage even, and with acceptance that just says, I'm okay, just as I am, and I'm changing. Now, before I said that our butt and our bellies are connected. So if you can maybe even courageously pull your shirt up a little bit, follow this line of movement. Hold your butt, pull up, 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 and then once you lay your hips back down, you're going to start to go just above the bone of your pelvis, right? You'll pull the tissues a little bit higher than the hip bone. And then between the bottom of the ribs and the top of the pelvis, you're actually going to start to feel how that, from the butt, it turns into the belly. Okay, so you pull the tissues up, 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 and then as you get into the belly, start to move the tissues right into the original hollow of your belly button, right? So it's actually gliding those tissues up to the belly, up to the hips, which creates the forward tilt of your belly, the pelvis. And then as you start to push the belly towards the midline, towards your navel center, it's going to create a tapering effect. While the hips stay wide, the belly actually starts to elongate out of the hips and then narrow inward towards the navel. Now, depending on your starting point, you may just completely dismiss this and say, yeah, right, there's no tapering with my waistline. But the very first thing you can do is just know the terrain. Be honest with yourself. What's happening inside of these tissues? What's stuck? What's emotionally lodged into these places? And as you bring your butt up and your belly around and into the navel, you start to see that that is actually a pathway of detox, a pathway of digestion. It awakens the lymphatic system. It keeps the movement of the tissues more towards the core of the body, whereas if you scoop the butt down, it actually moves that energy away from the core. So you want to bring that energy up and in to allow the center of the body and the motor that lives inside to do what it's meant to do. Now, a little more deep into the tissues of the belly, once you've got the butt muscles really mounded, and then allowing the belly to be a little longer and more tapered in, I want you to start to bring your hands again under the waistline of your pants, and then with your fingers right inside the crest of your hip, really snuggle against the skeleton. I want you to pull the tissues up. So I don't move my hands up. I just hold the tissues up away from the pubic bone. Just move your head and your neck around a little bit. Make sure you're not holding any tension around the shoulders or the jaw. And then while you keep pulling the belly energetically towards the heart, lift one leg. And then keep pulling the belly up and extend the leg out and in. And as you push out, feel feel the tissues, the layers, all of the energy and the information that you're getting of what's sticky, what's tight, what's lodged inside the hip bone, right around the psoas, between the pelvis and the rib cage. Try 2 or 3 on each side and then switch. And as you keep holding the belly, there's 2 ways to do it. The first way I taught is to just pull up towards the heart and then extend and bend one leg in and out. Another way to get a little bit more crossing of your midline, which every time is going to give you access to center, is to go from your left hip towards your right ribs. So you can literally go inside the bone, and then while you're extending the left leg, pull to the right diagonal. And whether you're pulling up to the heart or diagonally across, you're going to get different information. And all that's going to start to do, besides help you to fall in love with yourself, because you're getting real information, you're noting the actual quality of tissues under your hands, it's going to start to shear some of those layers so that any adhesions, any stickiness, any stuck trauma or scar tissue fibers that have gotten woven that maybe create a crisscross, not so harmonious pattern, we start to untangle those layers and layers upon layers of tissue that actually keep us from allowing flow and movement inside of our body. So just go and explore by touching yourself. We can even go into the tissues of our breasts, of our side ribs, of our neck and our sternum. And we are going to go into more of the fascial lines of the face as we do mirror work later in this series. But we have to be first willing to literally touch our own bodies. Touch your own butt. And you can do it standing in line at the bank, because you'll notice the butt will go under. The second someone comes at you with a sour face or says some negative comment to you, you'll see your tail will tuck under, your butt will flatten and scoop beneath you. And that's moving energy away from your body, away from center. When you mound the glutes, the pelvic floor can open, and now the energy can start to flow a lot more freely. The digestion can be a lot more open. And you'll be amazed that as you start to peel back those layers like taffy or like peeling open an onion, there's so much to explore. And you may relive a trauma. You may have a flashback to a different memory, or you might even smell something from a different era of your life. And all that is alchemy in the moment, happening in real time. It's you creating a healing. It's you moving past the old baggage and helping to reclaim your center. I want you to touch yourself. I want you to be confident to put your hands on your own body. That laying of a hand is healing, and it's the most harmonizing and healing when it comes from you. Don't be afraid to touch yourself. It's Fascial Fridays. Make a ritual, make a time for yourself once a week where you really look at the whole matrix of your experience. And remember, when you work on the 3D level, when you get into these tissues, you're affecting change on every multidimensional layer that is you, all the way up to the 12th dimension, believe it or not. We'll stick with 3, 4, and 5D for now, knowing that as you move through the physical layers, you're going to start to be more connected to your light, to your space, and to the energy that is you. Far greater than the dense muscle, tissues, and bones. They're important, and you have to work through the layers to have those revelations of who you really are, letting go of the past and the baggage so that we can prepare for what's still to come. Please don't be afraid. Put your hands on your body and just feel. Is it cold? Is it bumpy? Is it lumpy? Is it stringy? Is it ropey? None of that is wrong, because it's all awareness that helps you to move yourself forward to the next experience. I hope this helps. Keep touching yourself, and we will talk to you again.